why we have fire teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ironworker Gaming Channel. I am Ironworker814, and thank you for joining me for another Destiny 2 PvP viewer-requested weapon review, where we take a look at pros, cons, stats, damage numbers, and how to obtain the weapon. This review was requested by RobotCloud27 and the Curry Chomping King, and the weapon we're taking a look at today is the Jade Rabbit. So if at any point during this video you find it useful, helpful, enjoyable, or you're just sitting there thinking, man, this Ironworker's a really cool guy, hitting that like and subscribe button are two free and easy ways for you to show your support. But scout rifles, they stink in Destiny 2, right? They're a pointless weapon type that just doesn't have a place in the Crucible. This is an opinion that I hear a lot. And while I do agree with the fact that scout rifles in general are not in a great spot, I would never write them off as worthless. Because as I've said in the past, no matter how bad you think a gun is, there is somebody out there doing amazing things with it. And then sometimes, even in the underutilized weapon archetypes, there's a gun in there that's just kind of trying to break the mold from a usability standpoint. I find Jade Rabbit to be one of these weapons. This weapon is a powerhouse, or at least it can be if the user understands its capabilities and plays to its strengths. But it does require a very specific mindset to use these high-impact scout rifles to their maximum potential, and one that not every player is willing to commit to. So we're going to take a good solid look at what exactly Jade Rabbit is capable of in this review, and we're going to get into that right after we take a look at how to obtain the weapon and its corresponding catalyst, for those who have not done so already. Jade Rabbit is a returning Destiny 1 weapon that resurfaced in Destiny 2 with the Curse of Osiris expansion. For better or for worse, Jade Rabbit is simply an RNG world drop, so there is no direct way to get it. Nightfall ordeals do remain a pretty good source of exotic drops, or you can just keep your fingers crossed and wait for Xur this weekend to see if he brought it. The Jade Rabbit's catalyst, on the other hand, can be found dropping as post-match rewards in the Crucible. And once obtained, you're going to need 250 Crucible final blows with this weapon before you can unlock it. And once unlocked, what exactly does this catalyst do for the weapon? We'll talk about that as we head into the stats and damage numbers. Jade Rabbit is an exotic, kinetic, high-impact scout rifle shooting at 150 rounds per minute with 10 rounds in the magazine. As for the stats, Jade Rabbit boasts the best range stat of all scout rifles. The reload speed is very respectable, but the handling is severely lacking. The stability on this weapon is terribly average until we unlock that catalyst, which takes Jade Rabbit's stability from middle of the road to the most stable scout rifle in the game. Checking the hidden stats on light.gg, we have an aim assist value of 80, a bounce intensity of 0, a recoil of 100, causing the weapon's recoil direction to be mainly vertical. Looking at the usage rate on Destiny Tracker, Jade Rabbit sits at the 74th most used gun in quick play game modes over the last month, but its kills and headshots are outpacing its usage rate. The intrinsic trait is Fate of All Fools, where you can chain body shots to gain bonus damage on your next precision shot and return ammo to the magazine. There is an issue with this perk currently, which we're going to get into in just a few moments. There is no true exotic perk on this weapon, but it does have Zen Moment, where causing damage increases its stability. For the damage numbers, Jade Rabbit will do 68 points of damage on a critical hit and 39 points of damage to the body, which puts our optimal time to kill at 0.8 seconds, requiring 3 crits, and our body shot time to kill comes in at 2 seconds, requiring 6 shots landed. With the Fate of All Fools intrinsic trait, we will see a damage increase. After landing a single body shot, your next crit will do 72 points of damage. After landing 2 body shots, we'll do 77 points of damage. After 3, our next crit will do 82 points of damage. After 4 body shots, the crit will do 86 points of damage. And after 5 body shots, we do that 86 points of damage again. So 4 body shots is where your damage bonus is going to cap at. But according to the intrinsic trait, we are supposed to be getting bullets loaded back into our magazine. Unfortunately, this is not happening because that part of the perk is currently broken. Taking a look at the effective range really quick, we will see full crit damage from up to 86 meters away. Moving back just a couple of steps to 86.5 is where we start to see our damage fall off. And with that, let's take a look at Jade Rabbit's strengths in the Crucible. Alright, first off, Jade Rabbit is an absolute monster of a gun from extended ranges. The 0.8 second optimal time to kill is extremely competitive, and provided you can land your crits, the speed at which you can put down enemy players from range is surprising. And if you remember, a little while back we did review Polaris Lance. I'll have that video up at the end of this one if you'd like to check it out. But in the verdict, I didn't recommend this gun for the majority of players. So you're probably thinking, what's the deal here, Ironworker? Same archetype, same damage numbers, same time to kill. The difference is that Jade Rabbit is doing a lot to help you hit your shots. We have the highest range stat of any scout rifle in the game, which also factors into accuracy and bullet magnetism. We also have an aim assist value of 80, which is second to only the Mida multi-tool in the scout rifle weapon class. Then when you have the catalyst unlocked, you're actually getting a plus 30 to this weapon stability, which takes the numeric value of the stat up to 76. On other scout rifles, 55 is the absolute best you are gonna find. And also, Jade Rabbit has Zen Moment, so as soon as you start dealing damage, this perk starts boosting the weapon stability even more. So all of these things working together ensures that every initial shot lands right with the crosshairs, and every follow-up shot is equally as accurate, and then your bullet will grab targets if you're slightly off. And these results are apparent no matter how far away you're engaging from. So the big damage numbers, the fast TTK, and the ease at which you can land your shots make this an extremely deadly weapon, even in the hands of a lower skill player. And Jade Rabbit is one of the few weapons that I am comfortable counter-sniping with. Now don't get me wrong, a crack shot sniper is probably going to get the better of you, but you can give less adept snipers fits. Even against a better sniper, landing a critical hit with Jade Rabbit seems to do a good job with flinching them off their shots. So even for someone like myself, with less than perfect aim, I don't feel at a disadvantage trading shots. Also, many players are very aggressive in PvP, kitting out for mid to short range engagements to push the pace. Scout rifles just aren't used very often in the current sandbox, and many players don't seem to know how to deal with them. Inherently, enemy players are going to try to push you, but as long as you're aware of your surroundings and you're mindful of your positioning, you have the ability to down these players before they can close the gap. Just a couple other things to touch on here, the reload for a high impact scout rifle is pretty solid. Actually, it can feel pretty snappy if you throw on a scout rifle loader mod. Also, when aiming down sights, this weapon does highlight targets, which does a nice job of pulling the frame of the enemy player away from the surroundings. And lastly, Jade Rabbit just feels like a very relaxed gun to use in PvP. You know, you get home from a long day of work, you crack open a beer and just want to chill out and play some Destiny with your buds. Jade Rabbit is a great way of being effective in the Crucible without going full on sweat mode. And with that, let's talk about some of the weapon's cons. Alright, first up in the cons, to really be effective with Jade Rabbit and other 150 RPM scouts, you really need to adopt a certain mindset. You need to play more passive, which can feel boring to some players, but these guns are all about holding lanes, positions, and angles, not for pressing forward and charging in. You probably won't be in every engagement, and there's a good chance you're not going to be top of the leaderboard, and you've got to be okay with that. Next, the body shot time to kill at 2 seconds it stinks. It's real bad. So landing crits is a must. This weapon does help a good deal in doing this, but you still need to be somewhat on target. And Jade Rabbit handles like a tank. You might not notice this as much on screen because I am running Ophidian aspects, but without anything to boost your weapon's handling, it feels very cumbersome. This also exaggerates the delay at which your radar will reappear when you're disengaging from aiming down sights. On top of that, we do have a relatively small magazine size at 10. And unless you hit all crits all the time, you can probably bank on 2 kills before you have to reload. This ties right in with the Fate of All Fools intrinsic trait being partially broken. If ammo was actually being fed back into your magazine, this could negate the smaller magazine size. But even the increased damage from the perk really isn't doing a whole lot for us. I mean, sure, maybe you can sneak out a kill on an already wounded enemy with the extra damage, but it's not enough to move the needle on the optimal TTK. Next up, eventually, enemy players are going to get sick of seeing you posted up in lanes. So they're either going to start making it a point to avoid longer sight lines, or you can expect to start getting pushed hard from the flanks. Neither of these scenarios are ideal for the scout rifle user. And lastly, even if the intrinsic trait was fully functioning, this weapon does not feel exotic. Nothing burns, nothing goes boom, and there's no unique fire mode. You just pull the trigger and bullets come out. So for the verdict and would I recommend using Jade Rabbit in PvP? I'm gonna say yes, but only if you're willing to commit to using this weapon as it needs to be used. This is not the most exciting way to play in the Crucible. There's very little glory in using a scout rifle, but glory is something that I never really concerned myself with. I'd rather be the guy that helps his team win, and if I can do that without throwing on a gnawing hunger, a dire promise, or a fell winter's lie, I generally feel all that much better about it. Scout rifles certainly are not for everyone, but Jade Rabbit is a workhorse. It punches the clock, it does its job, and it does it well. And that's really something I value in a weapon. So if you did find some value in this weapon review, please remember to hit the like button to help this video reach more people. And consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel to catch more videos similar to this one, and to join a growing community full of awesome people. You can look for Ironworker814 on Twitch or Twitter if you'd like to follow me on either of those platforms. And the easiest way to contact me is simply by commenting down below. I will be sure to get back to you. And with all that being said, I'd like to thank you for spending a piece of your day checking out this weapon review. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.